in Oklahoma. All right, I'll have to. I don't know if we stop the recording, she'll have to get a new link.
That's fine. Leave it in.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Oklahoma Archery Podcast. I messed up. I had my barbecue stuff on there to bring it in. So, but anyway, this is the Oklahoma Archery. I'm David.
I'm Neil. Hey, everybody. We got barbecue on the mind if you're out there in the middle of the cold.
I used this program last to do a product review and forgot to unprompt that. So the barbecue prompt got into it. I'm going to remove that before we do it twice.
It happens. It happens. It's the middle of the morning on a Tuesday right now.
Cold Tuesday.
Yeah, it's that season where you ought to kind of want to shoot a little bit of indoor. So that works for some of you. Dave's enjoying it. Every time it's probably below 38, 39 degrees, I'll text him and say, yeah, it's pretty good indoor shooting weather. And I know he's shooting indoor.
Yeah, it's definitely indoor temperatures. Yeah. But you and your cronies did go outside this weekend.
We did. We had the first G2 Oklahoma ASA qualifier this weekend. Broke 100 again. Had like 82 on the first day and at least 30 on the second day. First day fought the wind, second day fought the cold. So you can pick your poison there. Saturday it warmed up 70 something degrees. We were all peeling off sweatshirts and hoodies and coats, and then the wind picked up 30 miles an hour and we all put them right back on again. So
yeah,
appreciate everybody coming out this weekend. It was a great range. It had a good showing. So we're two qualifiers into the 3D season, and we've been triple digits both weekends. I just couldn't be happier with the turnout, and a lot of new people too. That's been the best thing about it. It's been a lot of new faces out there. I'm sorry if I've got your name and your face mixed up, or I try to tell people when I meet them, it's like, hey, it might take 3 or 4 times, man. I'm sorry. I meet about a dozen new people every weekend. So yeah. It's hard to learn names, but that's my job, and I'm glad good problem to have.
But this is not your first one. What was your first ASA?
First one was Trosper for the season opener, and they had, I think, 139 total and 158 total and 139 official. So nice. It was pretty good. We went and checked all the ASA numbers from it, and we had 137 of them were active. So we only had 2 of them that didn't renew in time. So that was pretty good for new rule, first time going through. We'll take it, everybody. They did a trickle start and tried to peer group them just a little bit. It was a little bit slow moving in the morning, so appreciate everybody's patience. Most of the rest of them will be shotgun start. The one this weekend, looking forward to today's the 11th. What's this weekend? 15, 16?
It sounds right.
February 15, 16 at Pawnee Bow Range. They are going to also trickle start from 9 to 12 just because the weather is going to be nasty. We're going to send you out in probably groups of 3 and let you get in and get out as quick as you can. It's just 20 targets, so come brave the weather if you want. It's a brand new range. We want to see all of y'all out there. It looks like we got our guest in, so we'll switch off a 3D real quick and talk a little different kind of archery.
All right, everybody, let's bring in our guest.
Hello.
What's up, Dylan? How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Doing good. You are taking time out of your busy academic schedule to sit down with us. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I got into our school's auditorium, so.
There you go.
Very nice. Very nice.
Well, tell everyone who you are and what kind of bow you shoot.
So I'm Dylan Hurt. I shoot an Olympic recurve, so that's the one with the very long bow, and I lots of stabilizers and sights. So
some people might call it Olympic recurve.
Yeah.
There you go.
Tell everyone what your setups are.
So I shoot a Weir Wiss riser. I can't remember the I think it's a 23-inch Weawis. I use the Weawis MXT10s for limbs, and then for stabilizers I use Weawis, and I have a Shibuya sight.
Arrows.
Arrows I have right now for indoor. I have Eclipse 10s, I think.
And are you a member of any teams?
I am the member of Oklahoma Storm, Joed.
Yes, that is Tom and Kathleen Stevenson's team. And we've had Tom on here before, talked in depth with him about a lot of his programs and his teams and his history. Let's just real quickly tell us a little bit about your history coming up in shooting.
Yeah, so I started in 2018 when I was 12 years old, or turning 12. I was 11. And I found during 5th grade, we have this like little trip that everybody goes on. We go down to the YMCA camp down in Davis, Oklahoma. We call it Camp Calliston, and we shot archery there, and it was very, very fun, and I really liked it. So, and then during that summer, between 5th grade and 6th grade, I went to Trosper, and that's how I started, and I didn't stop since then.
She also shot a little bit with the Arrowhead crew with Jeff and Gail.
Yes, I did. I shot with Trosper for a year or two, and then with Jeff and Gail for a year or two, and then now I've been on the Oklahoma Storm, and not looking back.
I know at one point, I think it was last summer, it might have been the summer before, you and your parents, y'all hit it hard nationally, real hard. And yes. Would you say that kind of catapulted you to where we're going to be going with this podcast?
I think so. I was in connection with a lot of people at the time, or I mean, I still am. I was in a connection with a lot of people, and I think just keeping that connection with those people, I think it really helped with all that stuff. So yes, I think it did definitely catapult me into
tell us a little bit about that tour you took, and don't have to remember all of them, but some of your placings.
So in 2023, I went to Arizona Cup for the first time, and I didn't do too well, but it was my best one of the season. 2023 was it was a hardship year. I really was working on mental strength and physical strength, mostly mental strength though. I
remember y'all going to Ohio.
Yes, we went to after Arizona Cup. We kind of talked it through, did a couple things, and then I went to Gator Cup, and it was with a trip of with my dad. And then after Gator Cup, we all went as a family to Southern California, and then after we went to Disneyland, and that was fun. SoCal and Gator Cup were kind of like, they were both a little rough in 2023. So I was kind of, it was a lot. It was rough. Just trying to keep my mental strength out.
What were those tournaments though? I mean, we as compound target shooters, we stand at 50 meters and shoot at this great big spot and everything. But tell us what you do with yours, and the tournament setup.
Yeah, so those those tournaments are USAT tournaments, and so the USA Archery team holds those tournaments. Sorry.
You're fine.
I
would say, are they 70 or 80 meters? I don't honestly remember.
70
They're
meters.
70 meters. How many arrows do you shoot per tournament,
Uh,
or per day, or per tournament?
60 on the qualification day and 60 on the qualification day, and then depending on eliminations, however many.
Okay. And then that's your placings at the end of the tournament after that, right?
Yes.
All right, cool. Neil, what else? What do you got?
I say it's one of the only styles of archery where the recurve shooters shoot farther than the compound shooters. That's what you need to. It's the kind you see in the Olympics with the big. I mean, so you're talking about X ring, 10 ring, 9 ring, but it's way out there. So got to play the wind. Got to look at the wind flags and everything. Man, it's cool to see, just because here in 4 or 8 years, a lot of these people that are excelling in this discipline, you're probably going to be seeing on the Olympics. It's just that's what they're training for. It's a development program. I've seen I mean, Tom and Kathleen have a lot of high level shooters. I was going to kind of get you to talk a little bit about, from the time you first got into archery until you found the team you're on now, you hit a couple of different programs, and tell everybody out there that might be like a beginner about how does that work when you join a league, you join a team, and you get a little better, and you're like, okay, well, this is kind of what I want to specialize in. How did you navigate through those different situations?
Yeah, the being at Trosper was really great for me as a beginner because it was kind of like a stepping stone to see what else I could do. So it helped me a lot, and Sid helped me a lot with trying to figure out like what is this sport, and then I went to Arrowhead, which they're mainly like a compound archery club. But we just knew that they were super, super sweet, and so that's kind of what we went with. And then we met Coach Tom while I was still in Arrowhead, and he told us all these things like, that's not the equipment she should be using. She's shooting really good with it. I don't know how she is, because that doesn't work. Those don't mesh together. And so we set up a time with him, and that was really cool. We set up a time with him and got together and worked on what I needed for that. And then we left Arrowhead, and I've been and that's how my Oklahoma Storm archery career kind of set off.
It's kind of like stepping stones. Trosper kind of introduced you. Hey, there is archery in this world here in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
And then you kind of got organized a little bit and found out that there's clubs, there's other kids. You can meet on a weekday. You can just kind of realize that there's other young people in your same thing. Like, I don't know what to do, but let's go have fun.
Yeah.
Kind of like what a lot of them do with baseball teams and softball teams and stuff. And then you met Coach Tom. He's a professional at what he does. There's no doubt about it. And then you realize there's another level.
Right.
And that level has worked on, let's say, the fundamentals of your shooting, your fundamentals of your bow, fundamentals of your front hand, backhand, where you look, your sight, stance. He has worked on honing that. Now let's tell everybody, let's introduce this. Tell everybody what you've got going next in this great archery world.
So I recently heard back from Texas A&M that I got into their summer program, which means I'll be spending down in Texas A&M, taking some classes. It's through their Gateway program. And so I'll be taking summer classes in the month of July, which is really, really exciting. And I've been talking with the coaches day in and day out about talking with the coaches day in and day out with archery schedule and if I can shoot during those times. And I got confirmation that I can shoot during those times. And so I will be shooting with the club. I have to make the team in the fall. I'll make the team in the fall. But I have to, I'll shoot with the club first and then I'll make the team.
How many do they have? We know, all of us know how large Texas A&M is here in central United States. But let's tell everybody what are you talking about when you say the club, the team?
So technically, archery is not an NCAA sport, so they can't really have a team, but they can have a club. So it's considered a club, and then there's a team. It's really weird. They made their own team of all the pro shooters, and then they have their club. Yes, so they have their club they have their team inside of a club, because they can and they have a class, like an archery class as well, so where people can if they're in kinesiology, that's where they go to. If they need a sport requirement, they do archery, and they can be in that class and be in the club.
So there's actually, it will grow into possible scholarships.
Yes.
Housing, just college.
Yes. Yep. The scholarship is pretty competitive. Still gonna sign up for it. I probably could get it. It's based off of score, and what sucks is that they said it's very competitive because they don't get a lot of money for that scholarship. It's normally like $200, maybe $2,000. It ranges from there. So, and since they're a club and not very they don't have that pull for a lot of things, they can't really get all that money. But they still try to hand it out, and it's very limited as well.
You and I had a conversation a month and a half, 2 months ago at a tournament, the Frozen Okie.
Yes.
And you had a goal there. Is this just a step on the ladder getting to this goal?
Yes. This gateway program that I'm going through is kind of my stepping stone to get into the team. I just need to work on my scores, because I know the scores are I think it's a 280 outside. So, and I can get there. I've done it before. So,
well, tell everyone, since you and I know, and it's just us talking anyway. Yeah. But what is your goal?
My goal, I have a lot of goals, and there's a lot of different pathways that I could take to get to this goal. I do have a dream of being an Olympian, and I think that's really cool. Standing next to Casey Caulfield or standing next to Brady Ellison. I do have a dream of being an Olympian, and I think it's just a dream of mine. And then a goal is to be on the Texas A&M archery team. I really do like the teammates there. They're all so sweet and so kind. And ever since I found out about Texas A&M having an archery team, before that I was like, no, Texas A&M, ew, gross. And then when I found out they had an archery team, I was all for Texas A&M, go get them.
They don't just have an archery team. They are, if you're a college football person, this would be like Alabama. Okay.
Right.
It is deep. It is talented. They have Olympians, USA archery champion, like Sawyer Sullivan, for all the compound people goes there. I know Casey Caulfield had gone there until it came time to pursue the Olympics. Catalina Noriega, everybody saw her on the Olympics. So this is the team. Let's not pull any punches here. This is the
right.
This is big.
Yes. Yeah, this is the team. it's kind of just like where I want to go. It's at this point, it's like I'm going there. So
Have you had any other Oklahoma Storm alumni go there? Are you the first one from Tom and Kathleen, or have they had a few others?
I've had Hannah Flores. Yeah, Hannah Flores. She went there. She graduated, I think, either last year. I think it was last year she graduated. Oh no, sorry, 2 years ago. She graduated 2 years ago. And she was an mechanical engineering major. So, and she was on Coach Tom and Coach Kathleen's team for a while. I don't know how long, but
Yeah. So what are you wanting to go to school be? I'm just going to throw this out. What about moving on into the educational world? Teaching, coming back, go to Central State, and let's build Central State up as the new Texas A&M. Archery.
Right. I want to go into kinesiology, which is I want to go into kinesiology, which you can do a lot with that. You can be a physical therapist. You could be a chiropractor. I want to be a physical therapist and hopefully open a business with my best friend who wants to go into dance therapy. So hopefully we can do that together.
Archery therapy. We're just throwing this out there. We're not saying it has to be.
Right. Yeah. So we're hoping to open a business when we're older and have the money for it.
Splitting rent always goes good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, good. And let's be real. UCO needs a program. We all need someone around here where to send them. So you might be their physical therapist when that program gets started.
Yeah, maybe.
When I was shooting Olympic recurve, this was way back in the day, and we never made it to any of the U.S. archery stuff. We would just shoot in the NFAA, which was Young Adult Freestyle Recurve Limited or something like that. Had a strange name. I don't even know if the class exists anymore. But they at one point were thinking about moving the Olympic Training Center from Colorado to Edmond right there at UCO. I don't know whatever happened to that. Is it still there? Did it fizzle out?
I have no idea. I've looked all over Oklahoma for archery. I haven't seen anything. So I honestly have no clue if there is any anymore in Oklahoma.
I know at one point, and this was when I was down and out, not shooting, there was something that it's probably what you're talking about, Neil. The city of Edmond and something, they were looking at building something out by Arcadia to do with the school because there was not enough room. They were already blocked in at the school area for an archery complex. I do remember that. Yeah.
So how does it change when you go? Because you've got responsibilities. You're finishing up high school. You've got to pull grades. You've got to do this and that. How does it change when you know you're going to college to participate in archery, but it's still an extracurricular? Does that change your mindset at all?
I hope it doesn't. I don't think it would. I had a couple of people that are on the Texas A&M archery team. They said it is a mental challenge when going to go shoot because sometimes their parents were saying, hey, it's time to go practice. And I'm one of those people who's it depends on the day. It's either my parents have to tell me to go practice or I'm telling my parents I need to go to practice. It's mostly the days where I'm telling my parents to go, hey, we need to go to practice. So I hope it doesn't change. I really would like to keep it the way where I'm I need to go practice today. So I did hear that it is a mental challenge with that, and I don't think it would change my goals on that.
So
going to school.
How many times a week do you shoot or practice?
I shoot 5 to 6 days a week.
Okay. And when you're approaching your practice, do you go in with the I'm going to work on this area. I'm going to work on this area, or do you go in and say I'm just going to shoot a game, a full round? How is your practice routines?
So my practice routine, it's very. Sorry, hold on. Okay, my practice routine is very. It varies because sometimes I'm either gonna shoot with my heavy pound limbs just to work on strength, or use either work on my heavy pound limbs, or I'm just scoring. I've been having a hard time with just scoring. I am one of those people who doesn't like scoring at all. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But I need to get like acclimated to it. So that's why every day I have a clipboard and a score sheet and a pen. And I shoot on a target every single day. And I try to make it fun, because it sometimes gets a little boring to just do that every single day. So I play music, I dance a lot on the range. That's why you see me dancing a lot. I'm trying to make it fun for me, so I'm not like bored out of my mind. So that's normally my practice days. If I do find something during practice that I need to work on, then I will work on that while I'm scoring to see what goes different.
And you're big into tracking this stuff, aren't you? I've noticed that on all of the Storms teams. If they make one change, you need to document and see what did that change, and not just in that, but the whole spectrum of your shot. I've seen that with you guys. Is that something that I'd say that next level you've picked up with Coach Tom?
Yeah, that is something I have picked up. I have learned how to write things down immediately after I do something or figure out something. It's starting to be a habit of mine to write something down if I figure something out. Definitely learned that from Coach Kathleen and Coach Tom. When I'm like, oh my gosh, I just figured this out, they're like, ooh, maybe you should write that down. And like, so I have learned that from both of them. I think it's very helpful to write things down, and it's just also a psychological thing. If you're writing something down and you're saying it, it makes that it drills in your head.
So, how is your family prepared to let you go to Texas A&M? How is that working out?
They're a little I don't know.
This is just between us. No, they're not going to hear this.
They haven't cried yet.
It's coming.
Yeah, it's coming.
It's always dad too. It's mom's like, she's gonna go live her dreams, and dad's over. Just, you gotta drive home. I can't do this.
Yeah. I think they'll be okay. I mean, I'm gonna be one of those kids who calls them between classes like, hey, I just had this for lunch, and I think you need to know that. I just had a taco for lunch. I just wanted to let you know. Okay, bye. I love you. Like, I think I'd be one of those kids just to call them, just be, between every single class.
Are you thinking of me today?
Yeah. Did I do anything? Yeah.
Yeah. And don't you have a younger brother?
I do. I do have a younger brother.
Does he shoot?
He used to shoot. We still have all of his equipment just in case one day he does want to shoot. But I don't see that coming in the near future. I don't think he'll start shooting again. But maybe we can think about it. See if he wants to.
Did you ever shoot a compound, or did you go straight into recurve?
I was always in recurve. I shot barebow first, and then ILF barebow, and then recurve.
Okay.
Elliptic recurve.
I would say as long as I've seen you, it's always been recurve, but I never did know. Yeah.
Absolute purist. No training wheels.
Yeah. No training wheels, guys. Might have to get
Salam.
It's,
Welcome to Dylan's world.
they're fun. Out of all the people that'll come by and watch, archery happen at the local range, you might have some passerbys or something. They see these Olympic recurves, and the bow's as tall as the archer. I mean, and you've got a 30-inch bar coming off of it in any direction. Like, it's something that it'll catch an eye. I remember I brought one time after watching the Olympics, not this recent, but 4 years back, and it's like, I need to bust mine out. Obviously, somebody needs to come save America. I guess it's going to have to be me. And every one of those compound guys, like, that's cool. Can I shoot that? Yeah, here you go. Just hand it over to them. They're like, I've never seen one of these. It's fun to watch. It's a totally different setup. So you're holding all of the weight. There's no let off on it. How heavy are your indoor and outdoor limbs?
My indoor limbs right now are 32 pounds, maybe 31 and a half. And I don't know how much my outdoor limbs are. This outdoor season is going to be a little crazy because everything was moved. Everything was moved forward. So, or everything was moved back. So that means all the tournaments are in March and not April or May, where it's normally spread out between those 3 months. So it's going to be a lot. Right after nationals, I'm going to have to change everything. So I don't know what my outdoor limbs are going to be. Hopefully, probably heavier.
And your nationals are this month at Texas A&M, correct?
Yes.
So when you get down there, what's your plans? You're going to go try and find the local ice cream shops, and hey, this is where I might stay, and
right. Yeah. So for that, I think I'm going. Well, obviously, I'm going to be shooting, but also I'm probably going to be getting a Texas A&M banner. I'm going to do a signing day at my school for Texas A&M. It's not an
cool.
Like I said earlier, it's not an NCAA sport, but we're gonna see if we can do that. Probably can. So we're gonna go get a Texas A&M flag for my little signing table, and then I think I'm just gonna have fun down there. I don't want anything to be like. I don't want to put stress on myself. I just want to shoot and have fun. So, and maybe figures a few things out before Arizona Cup.
Cool.
So there's Arizona, Buckeye, Gator, and SoCal Shoot Down, and those are the four. And then
those are the four. Yes.
Okay. And then there's nationals after.
There's Joe Nationals is in July, which I will not be able to attend because of the Gateway program. So, or Buckeye, I won't be able to shoot Buckeye either, which is very sad to me because I was really looking forward to, shooting those tournaments. But I think it'll all work out in the end.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Gosh. You'll be so busy freshman year, it'll fly by.
Yeah.
Well, how many do you know how many hours you're gonna take class wise?
Class wise, I think it's gonna be 12 for I think it's gonna be 12. My mom said don't go over 12 is what she said. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Monday through Thursday, 3-day weekends every time.
Oh yeah.
There you go.
Plenty of time to shoot.
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Well, it's part of, not living under mom and dad's roof anymore. You got to learn to grocery shop and do your laundry and all that stuff. So there's stuff that you'll, have to spend time doing besides class. It's like I remember I was in a fraternity, student government, a couple other extracurriculars as well as the debate team. And it's like, how'd you survive and pull all A's and do this and that? It's like, I had to. I didn't have time to sit down and think about anything. It was just on to the next one. So
right.
I think that's
Neil, I'm glad you said you were all A's. Not all of us were.
It was political science and philosophy. They just tell me the concept of what you think your grade is. Well, I was here every day. A for you. There you go.
There you go. Okay.
Best thing I can tell people in college to do from a academic standpoint, when they hand out their, hang on, when they hand out the syllabus, all of the professors have their times listed for when they'll be in their office for those little 2-hour chunks. Find a question. Even if you don't have a question, make one up and drag a rough draft. Hey, here's my paper. Here's kind of what I was thinking. Does this make sense? Am I doing, is this how you, and just find a question to ask. And if they remember your face at the end of it, they're like, oh yeah, I remember that student came by and saw me in office hours. If you're sitting at a B, they're going to bump you to an A. If you're sitting at a B plus, they're going to bump you to an A minus. It's just like, find 2 or 3 times to stop by and be like, hey, do you have a quick second? And just be like, on the thing where it says I got to do this quiz and submit these, these assessments or whatever, just clarify, just pretend that you have a question and go ask it to them. And that's going to take you further with them, because they're like, there might be 300 kids in there and only 6 of them came by to talk about an office hour thing. Just go pick their brain, even if you don't need it for anything. And that is something that it'll pay dividends in the end.
Folks, that is Neil's way to get through school. That is the end of our paid programming.
It makes them see that you're invested in, like, they know you're here to shoot archery. Everyone else is there to either shoot archery, watch football, or just party for 4 years. That's what college is. It's what you put into it. But every once in a while, when they say, hey, I'm going to be in my office from 3 to 5 on Mondays and Wednesdays, like, that's the perfect time to go make sure they, get a little bit of FaceTime in there with them. That's a golden opportunity. So definitely something I'd recommend taking advantage of. Like I say, Eve is like, I don't have any questions. We'll make one up. We'll just figure one out. Looks like they cut the lights off on you there.
Yeah, they did.
All right, Dylan. Well, we know you probably got other things to get to. We appreciate you chatting and talking with us. And we're going to do this again when you make your team.
All right.
I think that would be a blast. You tell us your path for what you ended up doing to get on the team. Okay?
Okay, yeah.
All right. Well, go enjoy the rest of your day, and thanks for taking the time to chat with us.
Thank you, guys.
You bet. Take care.
Right. How do I get out of here?
Should be up at the top. See that little duck up in the corner?
Uh-huh.
Click on that.
All right. Bye, guys.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Well, Neil, that'll be a fun one to see how all that comes out. I can look forward to seeing her in a year, and not only being on the team, but see what she gets out of it. I think that'll be a good one.
Yeah, we can't say enough about the program at Texas A&M. I'm looking at their 2024-2025 team members, and female recurve, there's 16 or 17. Male recurves, that many. Female compound, they've got 7. Male compound, they've got 7. Ryan Booth, another one. That's Scott Booth's oldest son, shoots for A&M. So they've got a ton of talent down there. They've got them all listed on their website for the open style, the pins style, the bare bow, the Olympic recurve. So that is a fantastic program. I can't.
You're gonna have to give Dylan Scott's information just for local or closer. That way, she knows there is someone down there that knows us up here too.
Brad and Tara Timmerman also, their local ranges where we went to state. And if we can get her to shoot 3D, they got a great outdoor range there down at Brazos County is the local.
Yeah. See, that's the archery community. We always talk about it, but it's time to at least give her those contacts and let them know that she's in the area. We got an Okie young lady down there that might reach out and say, hey, I need help with this or that. That's what we need to do.
I'll have Brad out there changing her flat tire.
That's right. Something, whatever it is. I need tacos is what she said, right?
Yep. Yep. That's the community you're getting a part of.
That's right. So
I would love to see their coach. I can't make Saturday practice. I got to hit the local ASA qualifier.
Yeah. But get that to Eric and Dylan, and that way they've got somebody at least. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's say there's a flat. Hey, where do I go to take this? Yeah. At least she's got an idea.
And let's just brag on Tom and Kathleen one more time,
Man,
because there are archers, there are coaches, and then there's Tom and Kathleen. And there's a level above what they're accomplishing with those young people on their team. I've never seen anybody with a mind like that.
It's a sincerity of the love of the sport and wanting to keep it moving.
Yep. Tom is he will sit there and watch you for days, if not weeks, shoot your bow. And after he knows you and you're comfortable, he might come over and say, I don't want to mess you up, but I just have a couple of things. And whatever, just put your bow down, get your pen, get your pad of paper, because he's going to tell you about 5 to 7 things and the exact order and why you might want to change your form, your feet, your stance. He actually tuned one of my finger slings one time. I had one that was about 4 3/4, and he was watching me shoot one of my old Hoyts with a spiral cam on there. And he said, your bow is jumping really nice out of your hand, but your finger sling is too short and it's stopping your bow from jumping. It's stopping you mid follow through. I had no idea. I thought you just bought them at the Lancaster trailer. And there's a little girl that goes to like Vegas that has a big giant lanyard of them, and she's got every color there, and you just buy one. I didn't know that the length of it was all that indicative of how it would perform. He said, you need one that is 5 1/4, not 4 3/4. Here, try mine. And he handed me one, and I shot like 10 X's in a row on a Vegas face. Just didn't miss a thing. And it was because he was seeing that bow, even though he's a recurve coach, even though it's totally not his
He's
area.
an archery coach.
Yes. There's so much you can learn from just the minor things. And I've been telling that to people. I don't even know what to look for when they're like, yeah, it's just not like if I see them with a finger sling and the pre-made ones, they charge for paracord by the foot. Of course, you're going to make them shorter. That's the profit margin. But when you start making your own, it might agree with your shot, your grip, your follow through, your bow's performance, and just little stuff like that, because I didn't change anything on the bow. It was just a finger sling. And he'd watched me shoot that thing for 2 months. And finally he came over, and there's a lot of people that don't take well to suggestions while they're doing it. Like, well, I think I've got it all figured out and I've got confidence in the bow. Great. That might be a very hard person to approach as far as like, hey, I don't want to mess you up. I don't want to intrude, but maybe think about doing it this one way instead of this. And some people, if you listen to them, you're so much better off to just give it a try, because I know he's worked with kids that previous coaches had in limbs that were too heavy for him, and they had, a shoulder strain or an impingement or some kind of, and he's taken them and broken them all the way down to lighter limbs and fixed their form and built them back up. So he appreciates, not having it, basically fresh start or something like that.
Yeah. My story with him was I had asked him a question, and I'll be honest with you, it was a couple years ago, and I don't remember exactly what it was. Rest, arrow, tear. I honestly don't remember what it was. And he says, okay, well, if it was a recurve, we'd try this, this, and this. Okay, I can go home and do that. He said, no, I'm not finished yet. And then try this, and this. Oh, I can do that. He said, well, wait a minute. There's still a couple more things you might. And his knowledge is unreal. And I know it's spider webs. If this would have happened, you'll need to try these 3 things. But if this happens, you need to try these 3 things. And if one of those happens, it needs to go this way. It's like, pardon me. It's like a tree branch. Every little thing will spin off of something else. So if you're in the area, and we'll announce it here, whenever his team has tryouts, it's beneficial to go to be on his tryout. No doubt about it.
That's kind of what I was wanting her to talk a little bit about, because there are some high level teams that you do have to try out for. They only take 10 or 15. I think it's 12. I'm not sure the exact number, but there's other leagues and other shops that you can, start out with.
That will benefit you.
Yes, 100%. They'll get you going. They'll get you around the community. They'll help you make some friends and shoot your bow. And then once you're ready, once you're good enough, once you're qualified, you can make one of these highly competitive teams that are producing. I mean, they've got, besides Dylan, they've got other kids on that team that are highly decorated on a national scale. Very, very concentrated small pool of talent that they're working with and taking to the next level. So,
and how cool is that for that team, that knowledge, that everything, to assist with school, college? That's great.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like seeing they've got a couple of contraptions that they'll have their shooters using. One of them's like a big shoulder sling that they'll wear, and they'll shoot dummy shots where the bow doesn't actually fire, but it keeps you from collapsing and makes you break away clean. So they've got that, and then they've got a headband, and I'm not sure the name of it, but
Dylan uses that. Yeah.
I don't know what the name of it is. It's a brain reader. It's a brain.
Should have asked her about that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get her back on. No.
So it's got wires that go all the way around her forehead, and it's got a battery pack on the back of it. And this thing is actually reading your brain waves as you're shooting. So it can tell when you're getting nervous. It can tell when your mental game is lacking. And it basically gives you shot feedback after every arrow as to how your mental state was. That is some next level. Yes, big time. Big time.
No doubt. No,
they're doing all kinds of stuff that's like cutting edge to take these kids that have a lot of talent to the next level. Because let's be honest, the Olympics is coming, and it's, was it North or South Korea? Which one of those teams that we can't beat? North Korea that we can't beat. He stole their coach 12 years ago and still haven't been able to get over the top of them. So it's a heavy task. Those kids are shooting from, I don't know what, like age 6, like hundreds of arrows a day.
It's their life over there, and it's not ours over here. And it was really interesting listening to some of the other podcasts out there when Rio went over there to Rio Wild to work with their compound team when they were thinking that compounds were going to be an introductory into the Olympics.
Yep.
It was interesting listening to him when he got back saying, folks, we are so far behind. They know that our tuning and our knowledge is there, but our dedication is not.
The other part of it that's lacking is the funding, the money. This right here, the dineros. They have corporate sponsors for every archery team over there that are allowed to give it as a tax write-off. So you'd have, Ford, Budweiser, and Gatorade are all giving a different team $20 million. Yep. And that's how their tax structure is over there. So they have all these giant corporate sponsors like Toyota and Hyundai and Mitsubishi and all these others that are dumping a ton of money into these programs to try to keep archery, at the forefront of that corner of the world. So it definitely shows that America not coming through on the funding side of that.
Yeah, where we've got Shaquille O'Neal and Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods on the side of a bus, they say they've got their archers on the side of the bus.
Yeah.
And they build every year or every cycle of the Olympics a final stadium replica, so their shooters will already be shooting in that environment and not be nervous once they get there. They build that just for them. It is, wow, that's next level. Yeah. So we need you guys to build a finals Oklahoma City Gun Club 3D range for the shooters. Yeah.
Well, you can just come out. They've got plenty of club shoots and a qualifier on the books. And they put out their schedule there. So I tell people, it's like, hey, if you can go shoot the range the state's going to be at, you can't miss that. Like, you have to go see what the terrain looks like. You have to check your bubble, check your marks, see the path. Now, I will tell you this, Aaron and Mary and Brad and everybody at the gun club they are ready for state this year. They're going to be cutting fresh lanes so that when you see your qualifier, you might have seen some of that trail. They will be expanding it for state. So when state rolls around, it'll be a fresh 30 lanes. But you can still get the general picture by coming to the, coming to the venue, but it will be fresh. It will be, they're out. I think Brad is down from Minnesota right now, and he's probably running a dozer. He goes, yeah, let's do it when it's cool. Nobody gets sunburned or heat stroke. So he's out there on a dozer, probably taking a tree down right now. So that's dates for our state are July 17th through 18th. Let's see. Oh, Dave got his commercial in, so let's pause for a new commercial break. It's winter.
Talk about it.
It's winter weather right now. It's cold. It's nasty. If your heater goes out, you need to call Cooper Heat and Air. Sly Cooper. Don't hesitate. If you think your heater's going to go, don't wait till it's broken to fix it. I think that's the slogan. Don't wait till it breaks. Fix it, but fix it before it breaks. Cooper Heat and Air. It's gonna be cold over the next few days. If you survive the winter and you want to make sure your AC is good for the summer, Cooper Heat and Air. Give our buddy Sly a call because he's beating us all at archery, and the only way we're gonna slow him down is if y'all come call him for some service calls, some repair calls, and give everybody else a chance to win at archery because Sly is pretty much beating us at indoor week in and week out. And as soon as he's done with Vegas, he's probably going to be beating us at 3D. So do it for me, do it for Dave and all the other archery people's egos out there. Give him a call. He's a huge supporter of the podcast and the archery industry. Love the guy to death. He texts me every time he goes to the range. I'm like, how are you? You can't beat him. You can't out practice him. You can't outwork him. He's just relentless. So Cooper Heat and Air, fix it before it breaks. Just wanted to throw that in there for him real quick because it's, 30 degrees outside, chilly, misty, windy, and nasty. So if your heater breaks, we got you. We got you right here. Say Dave's in the middle of indoor. Dave, what? You're back to the original PSE. You're back to the snow camo version 1.
Snow camo version 1.
So you got back from Lancaster and said,
I was done with version 2 of snow camo. Yeah.
That was the Duo X.
That was the Duo X. And actually, it was in a UPS truck 48 hours later. I'd sold it to a gentleman in Arkansas. So there's no going back to that. So back to snow camo 1. Yeah.
Took it to the local league night and had a bent draw stop.
I pull hard into it. A lot of people, it looks like I shoot a very static shot. I do, but I don't. All the factory stops, aftermarkets, there's only been one that I hadn't, but that particular one didn't work for me on this particular bow. I bend them. I bend the draw stops. I bent it, and it was pulling past the draw stops. It was going around it and clicking off closer and stopping on the axle. So, yeah, that wasn't fun. The second time it did it, I was about half afraid I wasn't going to be able to let it up. So I got home, which I keep a spare set because I do bend them, and put them on and kept shooting. So we'll go on out to the next one.
It's hard when your mechanical stuff through no fault of your own goes and now you're not shooting. That's a kick in the knackers for sure. But if you know how to shoot it and you know what the bow likes, you're not going to change your shot to make the bow work. You're going to put the bow back together and keep shooting your shot because that's the way to do it. So got to stick to your guns. The words of Steve Wingo, you got to be a good gunfighter. I don't know how that applies. I don't know how that applies to archery, but it's been thrown around a couple times.
Sometimes it's not pistols you're good at; it's long rifles. So hey, we'll look at some long rifles.
There you go. So Dave's going backwards in the years with his bow, and I'm going forwards. I've got my brand new Darton Exodus SD Pro. Got that about 2 days ago. Been kind of starting to set it up. We're leaving for Foley in, I think, 7 or 8 days from now. So nothing like waiting until the last minute to get dialed in. But I'm excited about it. It is screaming fast. Chronograph for ASA in my class is 280 plus or minus 3%. So it has to be under 288. I built the arrows up and had a good buddy of ours, Josh Jacobson, type in some Archer's Advantage arrow builds to see what my speed was. And if I left the arrows any longer, they'd be under spine. So I had to cut them at about 28 to get it to the optimal zone, in that it's got a needle on the red and a needle on the red and green's in the middle. So you're trying to see where optimal is. Had to leave them long for the length and the spine, but with 130 in the front, it was clocking at about 291 on the computer program. So I built an arrow, bare shafted it. It came in at 287.7, and I put 3 little tiny vanes on it. So it's going to be about 284, 285, hopefully. Just barely under the speed limit. And it's been, after about 3 shots, I was like, man, this draw cycle is great. It holds great. The riser's the same as the Exodus from last year. It's just got a new cam system on it for everybody that's not big like Dave. Max is at 29.5. So for all the shorter people, you're on the back side of that cam to where it's a lot more efficient. You know, if a cam goes up to 31, 30, 32 inches and you're 28, 29, you're not really getting into the meat of that cam. So what Darton did is they came out with the same platform. They just put a short draw cam on it. So you're getting more out of that, out of the mechanics of that system. It's screaming fast. Out of the box, it was about 60 pounds. I've got about 3.5, 4 pounds twisted into it. So 64 pounds breaking the speed barrier at 28.75 inch draw, 29-inch draw is kind of unheard of, but it's got some zip to it for a target bow.
And we've got a lot of Oklahomans headed to the first Foley, don't we?
We have a ton of them headed to the first Foley. If anybody needs a fresh Oklahoma ASA hat for the trip to Foley, I've got a couple of bags of them left. Get with me ahead of time. I love seeing our Oklahoma representation out there. And it's been the numbers for the qualifiers this year have been absolutely insane for being cold and windy and stuff like that. In fact, you never think February is going to be your big turnout, but people are cooped up all winter. Deer season's over. They want to get out. They want to shoot their bow, and Dave hasn't been able to twist their arm into shooting indoor yet. So they come out of the woodwork for this stuff.
But there's still one major indoor tournament prior to Foley. So it'll be before the Foley shoot.
Which one?
We've got Indoor Nationals this coming weekend.
Is it?
I am almost positive.
Okay.
I may be mistaken, but I am almost positive that it is this coming weekend. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think we got Andrea and Isaiah are going up there. I've got a qualifier this weekend. They're braving the February weather to go to Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't know who else is going.
I haven't chatted with anybody from Oklahoma that's going. Probably our barebow specialist in the state up there by Tulsa's going.
Probably Matt.
Yeah. But I don't know of anyone else. If they have, it's just because I haven't ran into them. But yeah, I think a lot of them are trying to gear for their 3D and or the Vegas in March. I think that's what's going on.
Vegas is going to be big, and I think I've heard rumors through the grapevine that next year it's getting moved back a week, and the year after it's getting moved back another week. So
you're talking,
yep,
mid-March.
Vegas, 2 more weeks of indoor season, Dave. You can quit.
Wow.
You can quit ducking the ASA until April.
Yeah, but see, the thing
with the cooking season, at least.
There you go.
The
thing with this snow camo bow is it is so far out of spec because I've done so much to it to make it fit me. That thing maxes out at 45 pounds. It will not shoot a 3D arrow over 230 feet per second. I mean, it just ain't going to happen. So for that to happen, we'd have to find a new snow camo. Yeah, version 3.
What do you have it set at to get? Do you have it twisted up or twisted down?
The cables are twisted up, and I've had custom strings made for strings and cables, I should say. The strings are about a 16th off on each one, but the cables are about a 16th off of factory spec, but the string is longer by I think a half inch. So that's how it's set up for me. Yeah.
Dave, is that upper echelon of the extreme where you should get speed from his massive draw length, but because the arrows have to be so long for his draw length, they're a lot slower than you would typically see. So he's got opposing forces working against him as far as feet per second go. So
indoors, it don't matter to me. And outdoors, what do? 1-2 tournaments a year. So hey, but I am going to play a little later today. I was listening to a friend of ours podcast, Archery Unfiltered, Wendell Souza out of California, and he was interviewing what do you call it, the Rain Man?
Taylor Spoolstra.
Yes. And they were talking about some 2613s, 200 grain tips up front. And I got to looking in my pile. I have some 2613s. I've got like 8 or 9 of them. So I peeled 4 of them last night, and I built them. I was like, look, and I had some 220 grain tips. So I veined them up and brought them into the warehouse here, and I'm just going to sling them today. Why not? I'm just going to see. He talked about them being so much more stiff than the 2712s that they just fly unreal. And so if they straighten out quicker, we'll see. We'll find out. So it'll be interesting. I'll play with them today.
3 fletch, 4 fletch, 6
Three.
fletch?
3. I'm shooting a blade. I shot 4 at Lancaster through my blade, and it did fine. I didn't have an issue with it, but with this bow, because since that was another bow, that was had ABB strings on the Duo, it turns right. And I'm not pro or against that, the left turn, right turn, but I'm not going to fight it. So if it turns right, I'm going to continue letting it go right. Mm-hmm. Well, the snow camo turns left, so I was having to strip anyway. So I just went back to 3 just for sake of mine's sake. I know I'm clear.
Yep, that's a Bodie Turner right after the rumble.
Yeah, oh my gosh!
Yeah, I shoot a 4 off a blade. No, I don't care if it clears. It doesn't clear. Look at it.
Yeah,
like, you just do it the same every way. And
so, but yeah, so I'm just going to shoot him just to see. Ain't nothing but time.
I saw Bodie up there with one of our buddies, Adam George from George's Gizmos. He's making the rounds on the internet as the 60X Genesis shooter. He's got his Genesis rigged out with long bars and a scope. Shot a 5-spot 60X game, and it's been kind of, y'all have to check it out. He said some people are trying to get him to go to Vegas, and he had Bodie Turner picked it up. Oh, did you get something too? What'd you order?
That's going to stay. That was sitting right beside you yesterday when you were out here. You just didn't notice it.
I didn't notice it at all. Man, that guy, he can build you anything for your bow if you just tell him what you're after. He's got all kinds of 3rd axis levels and tuning pegs and draw stops and aftermarket grips. Like, he is truly, truly a what can the bow be? Like, not what is it? What can I turn it into? So
there was some additional cost on this because it's not off the shelf. It had to be custom made, and he charged like 10% or something silly. I mean, minor in my opinion.
Yeah.
But if I got it the way I wanted it, that's what matters.
That's first thing I said when those draw stops. I was like, I don't know if 3D printed material would be strong enough, but I know he does offer like a carbon infused different material. I don't know if the carbon is stronger, but if you're pulling that hard where you're bending metal, at least the 3D would, it doesn't bend. I know that it might shatter, but it doesn't bend.
Well, but the problem with those draw stops is it's a weak point. And it has to do, let's see if I can get this to come up. There it is. That's my draw stop. And there's not much metal on the top and the bottom. The screw goes through the middle, and I bend it. You can kind of see it right there. Put it back here. You can see how it goes up. And at first, several years ago, I thought, am I over tightening it and bending that little thin metal right there? But every single one does it. So it has to be the pressures coming onto it. And it's just maybe a combination. And let me tell you, Tom gave me some ideas on how to strengthen this. Tom Stevenson. But now these bent ones are good for earrings or fishing lures is about it. So
Wind chimes, Oklahoma
Yeah,
wind
yeah.
chimes.
all right, Neil, I've got to get off here and get some stuff done. So anyway,
I guess some of us got to work for a living, huh?
some of us have got to work, pay the bills. So
Oh, appreciate
that's all
you
we got. We'll get this edited for everybody. Go shoot your bow, run to indoor nationals, go to ASA. Just get on the line.
Get on the line. We'll see y'all out there.
Bye, everybody.